Hi there, Donna Goodhand with Personal Vitality Coaching, and I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this webinar. I'm going to be talking about how gratitude can change your life. And I'm really grateful you're watching this because I not only believe that gratitude will change your life, but I know that it will influence the lives around you and ultimately the world that we live in. I'm going to be talking about what gratitude is. I'm going to be sharing some studies and research on gratitude and how gratitude can benefit various areas of your life. At the end of the presentation, I'm also going to give you some strategies, some tools, and some tips on how you can start bringing gratitude into your life right now. So, a little bit of background so I can share with you why I really encourage my clients to practice gratitude and why it's so important to me. A long time ago, I was very depressed and I had a lot of trouble finding the positive in things. And I would say that I wasn't very grateful. I had read a lot of books about why gratitude was important, but I just wasn't getting it. And then one day, after I felt like I'd tried everything, I'd tried different doctors, different clinics, different medications, and support groups. I finally sort of, felt fed up, and I thought, if I'm going to make a difference in my own life, I'm going to have to learn how to do this myself. And in that moment, I recognized that I am in control of my thoughts, my feelings, and beliefs. And if I'm going to change my life around and see the good, I'm going to have to start making those thoughts, feelings, and beliefs support a better world from the way that I'm looking at things. So, I went back to reading those books that taught me how to get out of my slump. And I said, you know what, I'll start practicing gratitude. I'll see if this really works. A lot of people seem to claim it benefits their lives. Let's see what's going on. So I really did feel right away that it made a big difference in my life to be able to look at the good things in life, not just positively, but to see the benefits of even difficult situations really transforms the way you experience the world and everything in your life. And so I sort of talk about this and just share this because I want people to know that, both of these people, the really dark person who was miserable and didn't really see where life was going, and the person that I am today, which is very positive and full of joy and happiness, we're the same people. We had the same brain, the same heart, the same values, but we were thinking in different ways. So gratitude is a lot about structuring the way that we're thinking about our world, our thoughts, our feelings, and beliefs. So let's get started. What is gratitude? Well, most people kind of have an idea of what gratitude is. It's about being thankful. Some people think about it as a virtue or a practice, but whatever it is, it's about recognizing the good. And that can be people, events, external forces, anything that makes up our life, our experience here, and finding the good in that. It's about appreciating people and showing them that you're also grateful for them, for all the work that they've done for you. You can even be grateful for nature. If you believe in a higher source of energy or the universe, you can also be grateful for that as well. And gratitude isn't just about being in the present, it's also being grateful for the things in the past. We are who we are because of the things that have happened to us. And so there's a lot we can find to be grateful for that have happened in the past. In the present, it's a lot easier, I think, sometimes to find gratitude in the present. And then in the future, there's a lot of things that we have to look forward to. Whether we get there or not, we can still be grateful for them on our way. There's a few things I just want to note. Being grateful is not about material things. It's not about new cars, new houses, new shoes. It is important to be grateful for, a roof over our head, nutritious food, things that are going to support our growth and survival. But it's not about the superficial things. It's also not just about being positive, and that's how gratitude sort of differentiates itself from just positive thinking. Positive thinking is very effective, but gratitude also looks at the hard times in life. Life is full of struggle and challenges, and with those comes a lot of things to be grateful for. The life lessons that we have in life are often from a difficult place, and that's where we find growth. So here is a graph from the humanhappiness.com, I believe, and it just shows the various ways in which gratitude can benefit different areas of your life. And the wonderful thing about gratitude is that as you're experiencing them in different areas of your life, it's also transferring to other areas of your life. And ultimately, as you can see in the middle there, happiness, which is what we are all going for. A happy life is what we all want for ourselves. So gratitude sort of enhances these areas of life and then contributes to your overall happiness. So we're going to start talking about those areas of life, beginning first with mental and emotional health. And the reason I kind of start here is because mental and emotional health is sort of the backbone for well-being. If we are not, in a proper state of mind with our emotions and our mental well-being, then it can really have an impact on the other areas of our life. And so when we can get these in a healthier place, then the others sort of become healthier as well, and happiness overall. One thing to sort of touch on is gratitude is about building a thought process and a way of thinking that is going to be more positive in nature. And, it's this very simple thing that I'm going to say is, it seems very simple, but a lot of people don't really recognize it in their day to day life. And that is that negative thoughts make us unhappy and positive thoughts make us happy. And it seems very obvious. If you're thinking about good things, you're going to feel good. If you're thinking about bad things, you're not going to feel very good. But most people don't think about how that plays a role in their life. And so this is sort of how gratitude works. Our brains have neural pathways that have been strengthened by our thoughts. So every time you think a certain thought, you're strengthening a pathway in your brain that is, becoming sort of a response to the stimulus in your life. So if you are, for example, always thinking, I can never do this, or I'm not good enough, the more you think that, the stronger that thought pathway in your brain becomes, and the more likely you're to think that automatically without ever giving it a thought. Whereas for positive thoughts, if you're always thinking, I can do things, and I'm capable of learning and growing, and things like that, then you're going to become more apt to thinking those things as a response versus the negative. So what we're doing with gratitude is we're just becoming more grateful for the things in our life, so that when we look to things, we just naturally sort of think of the grateful things. And it's a practice, it's a habit that we build over time. And I'm going to talk to you today not only about the benefits, but how you can start doing those in your own life. So, carrying on, gratitude has been proven to be one of the most reliable methods for increasing happiness and life satisfaction. Over and over and over again, tests show that people who practice gratitude are able to, have their spirits lifted. They feel better about their life. They feel more confident, more esteem going forward. And an alternative study, a complementary study, also shows that those who kept gratitude journals, which is the daily action of writing things you're grateful for. Also, over I think it was a period of 2 to 3 months, they have more energy, more joy. Their cognitive function improves, so they have better clarity and memory. And practicing gratitude also helps with symptoms of depression and mental illness, and reducing those feelings of isolation. From experience, I know that when you are suffering from depression or anxiety or anything that sort of keeps you isolated from other people, it's hard to be around people because you don't feel like you can be yourself, or that if you are yourself, people won't want to be around you. So it's hard to you sort of make yourself in a little cave almost. And but when you think about gratitude, you're focusing on all the things that are external from yourself. And that helps to recognize that there's people in your life who care about you. There's places in the world that make you happy. There's things outside of yourself that are positive to look forward to. So that helps also to bring you outside of your light, and also to bring more positivity into a darker time. Physical health. There is so many benefits to your physical health by practicing gratitude. Gratitude journals are kind of the way that many of these studies run. Robert Emmons, he's sort of the father of gratitude studies and research and science, and that's what he usually uses to figure out how gratitude impacts people's lives. And what it was showing was that the people who practice gratitude are more likely to exercise. They have fewer negative health symptoms, they have more energy, less stress and anxiety. And 90% of the things that people go to doctors for today, the underlying cause has to do with stress. Stress is very destructive on our health, and it leads to things like heart disease and cancer, and our body's immune system is suppressed when it's under a lot of stress. So gratitude helps us to relax. It helps us to, look at the world in a more positive way. It decreases our anxiety. It builds up our immune system. And it also has been shown that people who undergo surgery or have an illness for a series of time, that they recover quicker, or they don't feel as much pain when they're practicing gratitude, because those positive feelings, those dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, the chemicals that go through us when we're happy and relaxed, those help to reduce pain and help us recover faster. And also, I know that people are always kind of struggling to get better sleep. A lot of my clients are always complaining that, it takes them a long time to go to sleep or they kind of feel tired in the morning. Well, studies now show that those who practice gratitude, they get more hours of sleep. It takes them less time to get to sleep and they're more refreshed in the morning. Relationships. We don't live on an island. We interact with people all the time, and relationships are so important to our well being and our happiness because when relationships aren't going well, whether it's romantic, coworkers, friends, family, it can really have an impact on a lot of areas of our life. So it's important that those relationships are as healthy as can be. And I'm just going to sort of explain an example here to kind of show you how mutually beneficial the practice of gratitude is with another person. If you will, for a moment, imagine two coworkers coming together in the office, and one coworker says to coworker B, I really appreciate all the work you've done this week. I'm so grateful for your help. And coworker B feels so good. They have the benefits of hearing this compliment. They feel really good inside, and the original person, coworker A, feels good because they've made coworker B feel good, and then coworker B says to coworker A, "Thank you so much. It makes me feel so appreciated, and I feel really a part of this workforce. Thank you so much." And then it goes back and forth again, and it gratitude is something that is shared between people. When you show people that you're grateful, it not only goes back and forth between the two of you, but it spreads outward. It's almost like the pay it forward idea, where you're putting something good out there and it's continuing on beyond your own efforts. People who practice gratitude or are more grateful, they're also shown to be more helpful to others. A lot of that comes from when you feel grateful, you almost feel like you want to give back or, um, you know, some reciprocate the benefit that you got from someone else or something else. So you're more willing to share, be generous, more compassionate with others. When we look at romantic relationships, those who practice gratitude within their relationships have stronger bonds. They're more open with communication and they have a lot of trust with one another. And it's also been shown in studies that those in relationships where gratitude is practiced regularly, they have more satisfaction within their relationship and don't feel the need to look elsewhere. In the workplace is a very highly stressful atmosphere, or it can be. Not always, but it can be. If there's a lot going on, there's a lot at stake. People are always feeling a little bit under pressure in some situations, and gratitude can really help to take that edge off, make people feel more relaxed, more a part of the team, more effective, and just put them generally in a better mood to be there. Because gratitude has shown that people who practice gratitude, they achieve their goals quicker and more successfully. And a lot of that comes from the fact that they feel very optimistic about things. They're focusing on what's good, what's working, what they've been able to do in the past, and therefore they have the confidence to work harder and to move forward. The other thing is they're also thinking about how grateful they are for their job. So when you're grateful for something, you're more likely to behave in a way that's going to ensure that you don't lose it. So, they're working harder at their job because they want to keep the job. They're grateful for having it. They also, as we mentioned earlier, people who practice gratitude have better focus, clarity, which is going to help with productivity. Now, in the workplace, we can also not just look at employees, but if we look at employers and how it impacts their employees' productivity and the entire atmosphere when they practice gratitude with their employees, we've all heard people complain that their boss doesn't really recognize all they do or they don't feel appreciated at work. And so when an employer shows the employee that they are appreciated, that they are grateful for everything that they're providing the company and that they're doing a great job, then the employee feels appreciated. They are also more likely to be loyal to the company and feel happier being there, feeling like they're contributing to something. And as a result of having less stress, they're also less likely to get sick, and therefore they have less sick days and they're more productive. This is just a wonderful quote by Eckhart Tolle. I would suggest reading any of his books. They're so wonderful. Just acknowledging the good that you already have in your life is a foundation for all abundance. And, it just sort of, I would suggest writing that down and keeping it with you for a few weeks as you're trying to include gratitude in your life and just realize that there is good all around us. whether we've come from very difficult places, if we're in maybe even in a difficult place right now, there's a lot to look for that is good, that is going to fulfill you, that is going to make you grateful for all that you've been through and all that you're going through right now, because our world is full of abundance. So let's get grateful. So you've heard a little bit about the benefits of gratitude, how it can change the different areas of your life. I'm going to give you a few things here that you can do in your own life to start incorporating gratitude and start reaping those benefits. So just a little bit about making it stick. As I mentioned about how, the pathways in our brain work when we have similar thoughts over and over, it strengthens those. So that's the same with gratitude. Gratitude is a habit. And in the beginning, it might take a little work to do, but eventually it's going to become a reflex. And you're not even going to have to consciously think about being grateful. You're just going to naturally be grateful for the things around you and the people in your life and the experiences you're having. And it's also going to make you better prepared for the future. Life is full of dips and bumps and all sorts of things that we don't expect to come. Challenges are going to come in the future, and knowing how to be grateful and having that habit is going to help you get through those a lot easier. So where to begin? If you're trying to bring gratitude into your life, what do you do? Where do you start? Well, the best part about it is anyone can do it. Anytime, anywhere. Gratitude is free and available for all of us to practice. But there are some things that have been shown to be some of those key things that people who are very grateful or sort of great gratitude experts they practice more than others. And Jeremy Adam Smith, he's the producer of the Greater Good Science Center. He looked at the most common habits of highly grateful people, and I just wanted to mention two of those that hadn't sort of come up earlier in this slideshow, so that you can kind of incorporate them into your gratitude process. But one of the things is that they think about loss and death. And not to be morbid, but just to recognize that, nothing is permanent. To look at how your life would be if you didn't have things. So, for example, if you were to imagine losing maybe your best friend, your partner, one of your family members, and maybe it's someone you see every day. So you're not really thinking about, the role that they play in your life, but all of a sudden you think about them being gone, and all of these things that you love about them so much that you're so grateful for, they come to light, and you begin to see just how important these people are and show the gratitude that you have to them. So really grateful people tend to imagine their life without things to see the benefit that those things actually have in their life. The other thing is that they get very specific and detailed. So, for example, if they're thinking about being grateful for their body, they're not just thinking, oh, today I'm grateful for my body, but they're thinking, I'm grateful for my body because of all the things it can do for me. It allows me to run with my kids in the park, which, brings a lot of joy into my life because I love seeing my kids happy. They get very specific so that there's a lot of emotion. They use a lot of senses. So thinking about, sight, sound, taste even, feelings when they're talking about what they're grateful for. It really helps to etch that into us. The other thing is that, and this is sort of from a talk Robert Emmons did, and he was talking about how you can't sort of, just will yourself to be grateful, just like you can't will yourself to be happy or get out of depression. It's a way of looking at the world. And so when you change the way you look at the world, you actually change the way you feel about it. So it's deciding that, you want to see the world from a grateful standpoint, not just being grateful, but acting grateful as well. So here are some things that you can start doing. I'm really excited to share this with you. If you have any questions about how to do any of these or you want to share your experience with them, I would absolutely love to hear about that. The first one is the gratitude journal. And that's the most common one that you'll probably read about or have people experience. I've tried to come up with a few other ones that aren't out there, but gratitude journals, the reason it keeps getting shared is because it is really effective. And essentially, it's just, it's a journal that you keep. You can keep it, in paper form or on your computer or your phone, whatever is easier for you. And it's just documenting things that you're grateful for. So some people might do 3 things they're grateful for every morning or every evening. Some people might just do it once a week. But the point is, the important thing is that you really want to be with your gratitude experience. You don't want to just, be like, oh, I have to write 3 things down and whip 3 things down and not really think about it. It's something that you should immerse yourself in, really think about it, feel the gratitude as you're writing about it. And that's where you're going to get the benefit. The next one is kind of an awkward description of what it is, but if you have a better name for this, I would love to hear it. But I've just called it the Thankful Mental Ceremony. And essentially, what this is just taking mental note of people in your life that you're grateful for, and imagining that they're sort of walking by you in a ceremonial fashion. And as they walk by you, you're thanking them for the things they've done for you. So, this is a really good one to do when you're feeling isolated, when you're feeling like you don't really have anyone in your life that cares about you. Just imagining, even just 5 or 6 people walking by you and thinking about the impact that they've had on your life and thanking them for that as they pass. And the next one is similar. It's more of taking this mental ceremony and putting into physical life. And letters of gratitude is my absolute favorite way to share gratitude with others. I like to make a list every so often of all the people I'm grateful for and send them letters in the mail, or even try and give it to them in person. And just, this can be people like your teacher you had in grade 7, or maybe your first boss, someone who's had an impact on your life in some way. And I'd like to also challenge you to write a letter to someone that you maybe didn't have a positive experience with, but that has still given you something of growth and benefit in your life. The other ones, so sticky notes and symbols of association. Essentially, this is just to get you to have certain places or moments in your day where you're reminding yourself to get grateful. And over time, you'll start doing it just automatically. But this is sort of in the beginning, sticking a sticky note maybe on your dashboard or on your mirror or in your planner that says something like, "What are you grateful for?" or "Take a look around you." Just something to sort of indicate to you now's the time to think of things you're grateful for. Symbols of association, that could just be something like every time you look at the clock, or are getting ready for work. It's something that you're doing all the time or you're seeing all the time, associating that with the idea of getting grateful. Reframing, this is very, very effective, but it takes a little bit of a deeper effort. So the idea is to think of something that whenever you think of it, it brings about negative feelings. So maybe something that happened in the past, maybe there's a person in your life, maybe something that happened to you that was very difficult, and you still think of it every so often, maybe even every day, and it's very negative, and it sort of puts a damper in your mood right away. And the idea is to take this experience and think about what there is in there to be grateful for. And this can be very, very difficult because there's some very terrible things that have happened in our lives, and sometimes it's very hard to see the positive. So it's not about necessarily seeing the positive; it's just seeing those small little things that have helped you grow in some way to be grateful for. And if you're having trouble with this one, because it can be very difficult, you can always message me. I'd be happy to help you with this one, because when you have something in your life that keeps coming up and keeps bringing you down, it's very hard to move forward. And so when you can reframe something that's been a point of negativity for you and make it into a positive one, you're not going to have those little blips in your day that slow you down. And lastly, include the people in your life in being grateful. Spread this with other people. Get your kids, your friends, your partner and coworkers involved. Try and get the community to be grateful. It's a wonderful thing to share something like this with other people. And when we have goals or practices we're starting to do in our life, it's always more enjoyable when we're doing it with other people as well, and we're always more successful. So these are just some final thoughts on gratitude. When you're saying thank you to somebody, I've noticed over time that like a lot of us say thank you to people and we don't even really recognize that we're saying it. It's sort of when we pass people and we say, "How are you?" but we don't wait for the answer. So I want you to sort of, when you're saying thank you to someone, look someone in the eyes, smile at them, and really mean thank you, and deeply say it to them. And you'll be amazed at how much this really changes your day, having those moments with people. I've mentioned it a couple times, but just one more time to just get really detailed about your expressions of gratitude. So, not just saying sort of an overlay of what it is you're grateful for, like I'm grateful for my job, but talk about why it is you're grateful for your job. Is it because it allows you the freedom to do things like pursue hobbies? Is it because you enjoy benefiting a company that really cares about the world? Whatever it is about those things that you're grateful for, get detailed about it. The other thing is studies show that those people who just practice gratitude behavior but haven't really made the conscious decision to be more grateful don't have the same effect as those who, they go into it thinking, I want to be happier and I want to be more grateful. So when you make that commitment to yourself and you consciously decide, this is why I'm doing it. I'm not just doing this to do, try and build a habit, but I really want to invest myself in being more grateful, then you're going to, have way more benefits and a lot faster as well. The other thing is it can be really difficult to be grateful when you've been thinking negative things for a really long time. So it's not that you're not going to get there, but it's going to be harder in the beginning, and you might have to fake it until you make it, as they say, and just make the decision that you're going to be happier and more grateful, and just keep practicing and practicing, and then you will become more grateful just from keeping that up. And just as a reminder, also, being grateful doesn't prevent you from having hard times or bad days or sour moods. Life is challenging, and gratitude is just a tool that's going to make it easier. And the other thing that I didn't cover in this, but is so important, is that be grateful for yourself. You are an incredible human being. You've been through things that have been challenging. You have stuck through with yourself, and you've done a lot of wonderful things that I don't personally know that you've done, but I know you have, because we are all these treasure boxes of things that are incredible, and you should be grateful for those things that you've done for yourself, that you've done for the world, that you've done just in thought or in behavior. And this is just a final warning that gratitude is addictive and it's also contagious. It really can change the world. It can change your life, it can change the people that you interact with, and it can change your community. And if we're all walking around being grateful and thankful for the things that we are doing for one another, if we're being kinder and more loving with one another, then it's really going to have an impact on the world, and especially our lives. So I want to thank you for taking the time for learning about gratitude, how it can impact your life and make it better in so many ways, bring you more happiness and joy, clarity and mental function, productivity. There's so many things that gratitude provides for us. If you have any questions or any comments on this video, if you want to share with me what you're grateful for, I would love to hear that. If you want to let me know how any of the strategies or tools work out for you, that would be great as well. And you can email me at jenna@personalvitalitycoaching.com. Thank you again for joining me. And until next time, take care of each other and treat yourself the best.